Good afternoon from Yummy BTV once again, I'm afraid, with a different kind of content stroke topic. And many of you have asked me to give my breakdown, my take, or was justice done? Was it a bit harsh? On the sentencing of Daniel Khalifa. Some of you that know, and those that don't, the one that's plastered all over the news for the last year or so is the young boy, stroke adult, who escaped from HMP Wandsworth while residing at his place of work, which was the kitchen, a very much trusted job. So you can see that he was definitely very slippery. He's definitely got a few skills that kind of, though very young, a young man with a older head and a set of skills, a particular set of skills, because he would have showed conforming in that institution to get such a trusted job. The only thing that everybody was upset about is he hadn't actually been sentenced or gone on trial yet to see whether he's guilty, which, you know, in reality, to get such a job, your risk management would have had to be based on the sentence you were serving and the risk you pose with such an offence. Nothing was decided at that time. Right. So he turns up at Woolwich Crown Court yesterday and receives a sentence of 14 years and 3 months. Now, let's have a brief look at everything in its totality. Now, served in the British Army, right? And we have one of the greatest armies and forces in the whole wide world. He would have learned how we trained and could possibly have passed on those secrets, or would have, if he wouldn't have been apprehended early during this thing. Also, an all not too familiar tale of men joining our British Army with maybe suggestions of background of by way of a foreign influence in their families, right? Now, in the courtroom when he was giving evidence, right, Daniel states, I believe, saying that I asked once I was in the army that could I join the intelligence secret services, only to be told no, because you have a family member that was Iranian born. I would have thought that even with that kind of family heritage, not saying either way, because it is a suggestion that some say, well, then if you think that he can't join him, what was he doing in the army yesterday? All too familiar tale that how, you know, espionage and such crimes can, people can fit in. But it's very rarely that these things kind of happen, breaches of this nature. So was he bitter and twisted about the refusal? Did he always have it in his head that he was going to go the other way and sell the secrets to the Indians, right? I'll leave that up to you to give me a little bit more information if you have it. Now, Daniel Khalife, right, if you want my personal opinion, right, I think the learned judge who resided with the sentence yesterday, he or she breaks it down, I can't remember, of 6 years for the espionage charges, 2 years for the escape, which is normal, right? 3 months for another charge, all to run consecutive. And he says, the judge says that they were being lenient because of his age, right? What they looked at, right, if you're asking me, is the planning, the cunningness, the skills to be able to get out of Wandsworth like that underneath a prison van and tie himself to it and get out. What I suggest is that I believe that the leniency towards that, because at first, remember, I thought he was just a little boy being silly until the case unravels, of course, and you go about your business of finding out more knowledge on the case that we are talking about, which is what I did. If he would have had contacts with terrorist agencies or organizations when he escaped, surely they would have been waiting for him nearby. Or if he would have had help from that department, they would have been nearby, because they would have still wanted that information of those names that he knows works for the Secret Service, who are here to protect our country, and rightly so. And the judge was right in saying that basically, if he would have, those things would have got into the wrong hands, i.e. enemies of our lovely country, so to speak, those Secret Service agents that are undercover, that put their lives on offer for the country, like to remain anonymous, he would have exposed them and they would have been out of a job. Because once your cover's been lifted, basically you won't be able to work in that field again, amongst other things. So in the sentence, though, the consecutive sentence, which mean they all run to make the 14 years and 3 months, not concurrent. If they were being lenient, what was the struggle with giving him 8, 10 on one offence and making them concurrent? So it maybe hands were a little bit tied, but I think, and it's fair to say, and this is why this is probably a fair judgment in my submissions, is that the judge was being fair in the way that I thought, like many others thought, it was emotional immaturity on his part as well. That she believes that he has the skills, and he is skilled and could be intelligent, if the emotional immaturity of whatever reasons he got into this kind of state to begin with, and what he thought he was doing. She believes that the judge believes that maybe in the future, to see the error of his ways and all fair in the British criminal justice system, that he should have a chance to not do so long, and we'll do probably 7 to 10 years. I think with espionage, I think you do 2/3, don't quote me on this, not half, that he will see and would be able, for all those survival and conniving, deceitful, conspiracy, the slippery ways that he moved, that he could use it to something better in the future. So I do believe that is about right. The 14 years, very, very serious charges with breaches of security, or the possibilities of what the outcomes could have been. On this occasion, the sentence reflects of what he, in the wrong hands, what might have happened, if you get what I mean. Coming up a little bit later, I'm just going to get my Caribbean dinner before I travel tomorrow to get another interview on the board. Sending loads of love to you all.